It was over 40 years ago, back in early 1975. And I had a hot rod business. I had a hot rod business in downtown Toronto for over 10 years. And it was a very prosperous business. I was hot rodding Model A cars, Model T cars, the odd British sports car, working on a lot of Mustangs, early 60s Mustangs. And I was doing a motor job on a 60s Mustang for a friend of mine one day. And I was drinking my Labatt's Blue and smoking my Players king-size cigarettes. And a fellow came walking into the shop. And this fellow I had known from many, many years ago. And the first thing he said to me, he didn't say, "Hello, Marcel, nice to see you after all these years." He didn't say, "Well, nice I could find you." You know, something what I would call normal. Instead, he came into the shop and he said, "Marcel," he said, "Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming." Just like that. Just out of the clear blue. And I looked up at him and I said, "Billy." He had a white shirt and tie on. His hair was short because I had known him as a hippie, as a marijuana smoking hippie. And here he was preaching to me now, or speaking to me now, or telling me now that Jesus is coming again soon. And my first reaction was, this guy is crazy. He's absolutely nuts. And I wanted no part of him or his message about the coming of this Jesus. So I threw him out of my shop. I said, "Billy, please, just get out of here. Get out of here." And so after a few minutes, he left. And that was the end of it, right? Somebody throws you out, you're never going to hear from them again. That's the general tendency. My first introduction to the coming of Jesus was, get out of here. Leave me alone. I'm okay. I don't need you talking to me. I don't need you telling me anything. So that was the end of that day. And I remember going on in my business of hot rodding, kind of musing a little bit about, how am I going to get out of here? How could I change? How could things be different? My heart of heart knew something was wrong inside of me, but I couldn't put it together. I went to the mailbox one day to get my mail, and in the mail was a package from this same fellow that came visiting me that day. Billy boy had sent me a parcel, so I kind of smirked at it a little bit, and I thought, well, there's the first time in my life, and I was going on like 20 years old at the time. That was the first time in my life that I had really gotten a parcel in the mail. And so I was a bit surprised and wondering what could possibly be in the package. And so I remember opening up the package from Billy, and lo and behold, it was a book, and this is the exact book right here, called The Desire of Ages. This is the book that he sent me. And it might be strange at the time, I was into hot rodding and that. I was driving a 1927 Ford Coupe with a 427, 435 horse with a turbo 400 transmission with a shift kit. It had the Jag independent rear suspension, four-wheel power disc brakes, M&T rocker covers, Offenhauser high-rise with a Holley dual feed, headers, dual exhaust. Of course, it was a hot machine, fastest car on the block. Fastest car on the block. I had arrived. Black lacquer paint job. In the hot rod world, I had arrived. I was drinking my beer, I was smoking my cigarettes, and I was driving my hot rod. Leave me alone, I'm okay. And here I get this book in the mail called The Desire of Ages. The Desire of Ages. I think what caught my eye about the book was desire. I don't know, the word desire kind of, I looked at it, I said, The Desire of Ages. I said to myself, I thought I had the Desire of Ages. There it is sitting out in their shop. Right? Black lacquer, nice snazzy Mickey Thompsons, So I looked at it with apprehension, but yet I was inquisitive. So I decided what I was going to do, just like I'm going to do for you right now, is open up the book and start reading. And this is what I read. In the hearts of all mankind, of whatever race or station in life, are inexpressible longings for something they do not now possess. And I was thinking about this. In last quarter's Sabbath School Quarterlies, at the very last page of the last quarters in the book of Jeremiah, if you go to the very last page, there is a picture there of the 5-volume set of the Conflict of the Ages series by Ellen G. White. And it specifically states that those 5 volumes of the Spirit of Prophecy, it specifically states, and you can go back and read it, it says, these books have been proven soul winners. Proven soul winners. You know, in my particular experience, 40 years in the Seventh Day, I cannot point to a specific ministry in terms of how I got into the church. All I can do is point people to the Spirit of Prophecy. Because this is exactly what the books of Ellen White have done for me. They came into my life and I started reading them, and things started happening in the hearts of all mankind. So everybody in the world, it didn't make any difference what nationality you were. It didn't make any difference where in the world you were. If you were on the high seas or if you were on a mountaintop. In the hearts of all mankind, that is to say, in your mind, of whatever race or station in life. The Hebrew word for heart is mind. There are inexpressible longings for something they do not now possess. This longing is implanted in the very constitution of man by a kind, merciful God, that man may not be satisfied with his present attainments, whether bad or good or better. And here I was, with the hottest hot rod in the whole city of Toronto, and I wasn't even satisfied. I had the very best that hot rod world could offer, and I wasn't satisfied. And I was saying to myself as I was reading this, why aren't I satisfied? Technically, I should be satisfied. But I wasn't. And here was the book actually almost like telling me personally what my big problem was. I'm not satisfied. God desires that the human shall seek the best. And here I was, I had the best. There was nothing better. You can't get nothing better than a 1927 Ford Coupe with a 427, 435 horse, can you? And that was where I was at. Seek the best and find it to the eternal blessing of his soul. And so I continued reading. I was thinking about Billy. I'd thrown him out of the shop not too long before. I said, Billy, get out of here. Leave me alone. Here I am reading a book he sent me. Satan, by wily scheme and craft, has perverted these longings of the human heart. So now, wait a second here presents a little bit of a problem. Here I had the best, and are you trying to tell me that the best was provided to me by Satan? Now, this is something I had to think about. The desire is of him, that it may lead to him, the fullness and fulfillment of that desire. That fullness is found in Jesus the Christ, the Son of the eternal God. And here I remembered, Billy came into the shop preaching to me about Jesus, and here I did throwing him out in the book he said it, telling me, saying the best is found in Jesus. And so I continued reading. But all these individuals around the world, everybody, and they number myriads. And I looked up the word myriads. And they number myriads. So who's myriads? Myriads is the people who have been deceived by Satan in seeking the best. And they number myriads. Look up the word myriads. The word myriads is an indefinitely large number. An indefinitely large number. So it could be technically billions of people. Billions and billions and billions of people. And I think you could even include some of the fallen angels in all of this. And we have no idea how many they were. They were deceived two, weren't they? It says here, and they numbered myriads. Find all these things, pall upon the sense, leaving the soul as barren and unsatisfied as before. And you know, I can honestly say, my soul, with the hottest hot rod in downtown Toronto, was barren and unsatisfied. Isn't that amazing? I just find that totally amazing, that such a book, such a writing could speak to my heart, could speak to my soul. Here I've been working all these years on getting this car together, all my time, all my money getting this car together, and everybody around me had to admit, Marcel, that's the hottest hot rod anybody could ever want to build, hottest hot rod on the block, and yet my soul was barren and unsatisfied. Why? Well, it says it right here. It is God's design that this longing of the human heart should lead to the one who alone is able to satisfy it.